Hey guys, my name's Norchetto, and welcome to my channel. Now, I know you don't know who I am yet, but hopefully that'll change going forward as I hope to be putting out more and more content about the new Atlanta OverWatch League team for Season 2. That's right, Atlanta is getting an OverWatch League team. I, for one, am super pumped about this. I live about an hour and a half outside of Atlanta, and I've been cheering for the Houston Outlaws all season, which love my Outlaws, love the guys, and I'm really looking forward to all the participants coming up in the World Cup. But it's never really felt like a hometown team to me, and I've gone all in with them as much as I can. But when when the leak came out that a group had purchased a spot for Atlanta, I lost it. Told my friends, told my wife. They all congratulated me because literally that's all I've been crossing my fingers and wishing for the past few months is, man, what if Atlanta had a team? What if Atlanta had a team? I've even talked to some people on Reddit about it, and that kind of leads me to why I'm making this video, though, is I saw a lot of discussion when this was announced over the weekend about why Atlanta. Why does Atlanta deserve a spot over places like Chicago or Toronto or Seattle? And while I can't really speak to that because, frankly, Toronto, Chicago, Seattle, absolutely all deserving of teams. I think every single one of those cities should have a team eventually, and I, frankly, am a little bit shocked that Atlanta was announced before any of those three. But what I would like to talk about is what Atlanta does have and why Atlanta is a good choice, even if it seems strange when put next to other cities like Toronto or Chicago. And the biggest one really is just Atlanta needs to be seen on the same stage as your Chicagos and your New Yorks and your LAs. Atlanta is absolutely a huge cultural hub. It's a travel hub. The Atlanta airport is absolutely gigantic. And there are people from all over the world that fly through Atlanta and live in Atlanta all the time. So it needs to be dismissed that Atlanta is a second-grade city compared to any of those other ones, just with the sheer volume of people not only living in the city but coming and going through the city on a daily basis. It is absolutely deserved. Specifically regarding that, I will get into in a future video when I'm discussing maybe speculative names for the team, Atlanta's roots to travel and why it is such an important worldwide city and travel city in and of itself. But again, that's for a future video. Right now, if we can just understand that Atlanta is absolutely on the same stage as a lot of other big epicenters around the world, then we can kind of move on to another grumble that I've heard, which is nerd cred and nerd representation, which seems really weird to me. I had a bunch of people bring up the companies that work out of like the Seattle area, the Pacific Northwest, and why that means that they have the culture to support gaming and an esports team. And while I don't doubt that, I find it just odd that people think that Atlanta doesn't have that. So I kind of wanted to touch on a couple things, one of which being our nerd conventions. We have two main ones, and the big one is DragonCon. DragonCon has been going on since the late 80s, I believe. I think it's peaked around maybe 75,000 people for attendance over the course of the convention. It's huge, and it's been going on over 30 years. Just multi-genre, any kind of nerd culture you can think of, any anime, show, comic, anything. You're going to find cosplayers, you're going to find booths. Everything that you would expect to find at a Comic-Con, you're going to find at DragonCon. And that's right here in Atlanta, been going on for 30 years. On top of that, we have MomoCon, which MomoCon's relatively new. It's been going on since, I think, 2011. And it started, if I remember correctly, on the Georgia Tech campus as an anime-specific convention, but it has actually been adopted to just gaming and nerd culture in general. You'll see a lot of great cosplay and just a lot of great nerd culture at MomoCon as well. Fun fact about MomoCon, Momo is the Japanese word for peach, and Georgia is the peach state. But again, we will be getting into more state themes that might fit names and colors in a later video. So you have these two big conventions. You have this travel hub. This major city is already somewhere where you could see basing a franchise. But on top of that, you have a pre-existing center for traditional sports. We have the Atlanta Braves for baseball. We have the Atlanta Falcons for football. We have the Atlanta Hawks for basketball. We have the Atlanta Thrashers. No more Thrashers? No more Thrashers. And more recently, we have Atlanta United for Major League Soccer, which has done phenomenally for itself. The team itself and the fandom behind it has absolutely blown up. So as far as fan culture and the necessity for backing for these teams, Atlanta absolutely is a great place to have a franchise sports team, even one that's not a traditional sport. I wanted to go into that a little bit more too, because Blizzard and Overwatch are not going to be the only esports in the Georgia area. A lot of you know that Hi-Rez Studios is based out of Atlanta. Hi-Rez is responsible for Smite, for Clash Royale, which is a new pretty popular battle royale game from them, and more specifically with Overwatch, Paladins is maybe, besides Team Fortress, the quickest comparison you can draw to another hero shooter on the market. A lot of the other ones have gone under, was it Battleborn, I think, and whatever the other one was. The Gigantic. But I digress. Hi-Rez Studios is based out of Atlanta, and they hold their yearly World Championship convention for all of their games in Atlanta as well. So not only do you have one of the larger hero shooter competitors to Overwatch already being established in Atlanta, you have a convention that this company hosts themselves that has a lot of the same style games. And the reason that they were able to do this is the Georgia Department of Economics has really, in the past few years, put a lot of backing behind new media ventures. So TV shows, animation, movies, and yes, game design and game publishing. If you boot up Smite or Paladins, one of the first things you see will be a peach that pops up that says "Made in Georgia," and that's because the state of Georgia sees the potential in these games and media going forward. And I think with that kind of statewide backing, an esports team in the city is an absolute, just great idea. It's a great idea. So hopefully anyone who thought that Atlanta was a bad choice, I've kind of calmed the nerves a little bit. Like I said, I don't think that any of the other teams are less deserving. I am not trying to speculate on that. I'm just trying to give reasons why I think Atlanta is a great choice, why I'm pumped, and why I will be continuing to make video content for this team. I can't wait to hear what they're called. I can't wait to see who's on the team. And I just really can't wait to see what we have in store for the Atlanta OverWatch team. So, come on back, check back in on me. Maybe when I get some more content, I'll tell you to like, comment, and subscribe, but that's not today. And maybe we can make something great. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.